Welcome to Deck Analysis and Testing. Today we have a look at Exosisters. I know I'm like one box late, but to be fair, the two most recent boxes came out really close together, so give me a break. Exosisters are a rank 4 deck that stops your opponent from touching the graveyard. All of the main deck guys, or I guess girls, transform into Xyz monsters when your opponent lays their filthy hands on their graveyard, and those monsters have effects that either stop your opponent from touching their graveyard or just banish a lot of cards. The end board has like 4 card banishes as quick effects, and there just isn't a lot of deck that can play through that. Obviously, it's not really reliable to wait for your opponent to move stuff from their graveyard in order to do your combos, so thankfully, other than the Exosister's effects to transform into Xyz monsters, you can just make them normally with, 2 level 4 monsters. This opens up a lot of side engines that you can play alongside the sisters. In the free-to-play version, we are playing the level 4 spirits because Sakitama is from the same box, and in the expensive version, we're playing the performages, which is probably the best way to play Exosisters in Duel Links. Okay, let's have a look at the cards. We will start with the Spirit Monsters. We have one card starter, Aratama. This card, when normal summon, can add a Spirit Monster from your deck to your hand. The card you will be adding will be a copy of Sakitama, which you can reveal this card from your hand, and then you get a free normal summon for a Spirit Monster. Usually you can summon itself, and occasionally you can also use it to summon other Spirit Monsters as well. Nikitama is also a spirit monster that you can summon, and when you normal summon this card, you can normal summon another spirit monster in addition to your normal summon or set. So these 3 spirit monsters combined allows you to, if you open with any one of them, use your skill Spiritual Calling to shuffle it back to your deck and grab the Aratama, which is a 1-card combo to make a rank 4. Or if you have multiple copies, you can also normal summon the Nikitama, and then normal summon the Aratama, which grabs the Sakitama, and then you normal summon the Sakitama, and that's like 3 level 4 materials on the spot. And for the Exosisters, we're playing 1 copy of Irene. This card can place an Exosister card from your hand on the bottom of your deck and draw a card. And if you have Sophia, which is like the other half, you gain 800 life points, and then they all share the same effect of all the Exosisters, where if your opponent moves a card from either graveyard, you immediately Xyz summon using itself as material. We have 2 copies of Stella. You could also play 3 copies of this. It's one of the better main deck Exosister monsters. During the main phase, you can special summon an Exosister monster from your hand, and then if you control Alice, you gain 800 life points. And then the same transforming effect, I won't repeat that. Alice is probably the best one. If you control an Exosister monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you control Stella, you gain 800 life points. And finally, a copy of Exosister Sophia. This card can draw a card when you control another Exosister monster, and if you control Irene, you also gain life points. For the spells and traps, we're playing 2 copies of Pax. This card is your searcher, pay 800 to add any Exosister card from your deck to your hand, and if you added a monster with this effect and you control the other half on your field or in your graveyard, you can also special summon the thing that you searched. 2 copies of Returnia. This card is part of your end board piece. If you control only Exosister monsters on your field, you paid 800 life points to target a card on your opponent's field or in their graveyard to banish it. And then you can also choose to either Xyz summon immediately or banish another card on your opponent's field if you Xyz summon this turn. And because of rank 8 monster, usually you will be able to use the second effect to banish a second card without even targeting. So the first effect, the first banish is targeting, but the second one is not, which gets around a lot of protection. Other trap is Vadis. This card allows you to pay 800 to choose an Exosister monster from your deck and also her partner, and special summon both monsters but shuffle them back into your deck during the end phase. Also, you're locked into Exosisters. This is not as good as the other trap, but it does allow you to put more monsters on the field in order to potentially use the transforming effects. And also, because you can chain this card in an effect that moves stuff from the graveyard, you can chain the Vadis, summon the monsters out, and then the chain link resolves and your opponent will move stuff from their graveyard, and that will trigger your Exosister monster effects. For the extra deck, we have all Exosisters. We will start with Magnifica. This is our rank 8, and it can only be made using 2 rank 4 Exosister Xyz monsters. So it's a bit of a special case. You don't even need any level 8 monsters to make this card. This card can attack twice every turn, and once per turn has a quick effect, can detach 1 to banish 1 card your opponent controls. Does not target, really, really strong. And if your opponent activates a card of effect, you can chain this effect to return 1 Xyz monster attached to this card back to your extra deck, and then Xyz summon it using itself as material. So you will be using this effect to make Mikalis. This card has a quick effect to banish a card from your opponent's field or their graveyard. During the turn, it is Xyz summoned using an Exosister as material, which you can achieve using Magnifica. And also, once per turn, just during your main phase, you can detach 1 to add an Exosister spell trap from your deck to your hand. Next is Caspitiel. Caspitiel. This card, instead of searching a spell trap, can search a monster by detaching, and also, if this card is Xyz summoned using an Exosister as material, it locks either player from special summoning monsters from the graveyard for the rest of the turn. And also cannot be destroyed by a battle with a monster special summoned from the graveyard. Same with the Mikalis. 1 copy of Asophiel. This card also shares the same battle protection effect, and when Xyz summoned, another player can activate card effects in the graveyard this turn, like Abyss Dweller. And you can detach 1 to bounce a monster from your opponent's side of the field back to the hand. Finally, 1 copy of the worst one. This card can detach 1 to boost attack. Not the best of effects, but it allows you to like beat over stuff, I guess. And also, when you Xyz summon this card, you can detach 1 to target 1 effect monsters your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. Not as good as the other guys, but it is something that you can theoretically make, I guess. Let's have a look at the expensive version. So the expensive version looks really, really different because this is basically like a performance deck that uses Exosisters as the end board. As you can see, we're playing like 1 Exosister main deck monster and 1 Exosister trap. Some people play more, like a more extended Exosister engine in performages, but I find this version to be more consistent and just enough because you get to open with your non-engine more frequently. But despite this, your end board is pretty much exclusively Exosister monsters because your end board is like a Magnifica plus a trap, plus like any amount of back row that you draw. So even with like this low amount of Exosister cards, you will be ending on pretty much only Exosister cards every single turn. For the monsters, we will quickly go over it. We are playing free Hat Tricker, free Damage Juggler, and free Trick Clown. And because of our skill, any one of these performances will be full combo because you get to basically Xyz summon 2 rank 4 monsters. You'll be making a copy of the Monster Searcher and then making a copy of the Spell Searcher. And this will grab you the trap, and then you will rank them up into Magnifica and then pass turn. For the non-engine, we're playing 2 copies of Wither Anchor, free Engage to search it, just good in general to break boards, and 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet. And also 1 copy of Jamming Waves as a secondary target for our Engage if we want to pop back row instead of getting rid of monsters. For the extra deck, 2 Magnifica, even though we don't play a lot of Exosister monsters, we still want to play 2 because you can make 1 on your turn 1, and then 1 for follow-up to close out games, because this guy can attack twice, and that's pretty good. 1 giant hand, because if your opponent hand traps you, you might not be able to search with Caspitel, or if they draw and lockbird you, you can't even continue your combo, and in that case, you're just gonna make a giant hand and pass. 2 Exoton Knight, usually 1 is enough, but in very specific situations, you might need 2. For example, if your opponent is playing Resonators or like Red Dragon Archfiend, you need 1 to like force out the level 9 Abyss Negate, and then 1 to force out the Fiendish Chain, and then the third one to actually go through. So you might need 3 copies for that. and because the skill returns a monster back to your deck, so even if we're only playing 2, you can effectively use this effect 3 times if we're playing 2 copies, and that is good against some decks like Resonators. 1 copy of Caspitel, 1 copy of Michaelis, and 1 copy of Asophiel. And finally, 1 copy of Optimus, the Moon Main did, because we need a Link one to make our combos work. So let's have a look at some replays. Okay, for our first replay, we're playing against Ancient Gears, and we are going second. Ancient Gears going first usually just puts out a Howitzer and maybe a Kite Rod in their hand, and maybe like a Xanathon to lock Graveyard, but we don't really care about our own Graveyard too much, so that won't really matter even if they decide to make it. Our opponent will just do their usual Ancient Gear combo. They grab a box and a catapult, and they're gonna discard the catapult, and box will trigger, adding them statue for follow-up, but joke's on you, there won't be a second turn for them. They're gonna use fusion, using the stuff from the field. I don't know why, because they can use 1 from deck, but whatever. We don't even have to contest against Kite Roy, but even if we do, we still probably have lethal. We'll do the standard combo, Nikitama summon Aritama, Aritama grabs Sakitama, and then 2 of them for a Caspitel. Caspitel will grab ourselves a Exosister monster, we'll grab Ellis, which will special summon itself, and then Sakitama will normal summon itself, Pax to grab her other half, so we can special summon it. We're gonna make a Michaelis. Michaelis will grab ourselves a trap, and then Michaelis will banish a card on their field. We're gonna use the Ellis effect, Stella effect to special summon another Stella, because it can summon itself, and then we're gonna make a Magnifica, and then because we made an Asophiel, our opponent cannot activate any effects from their graveyard, so a Howitzer is just a sitting duck. They can't even summon from deck, and we'll just attack and go for game with like a lot of follow-up. Okay, second game we're playing against Utopia, we are going second. One Spirit Monster isn't really like ideal, but it should be enough. Also, another thing that you can play in the Spirit Monster version in this deck is to play something like a Spirit Monster that does something on summon. So there's like a Spirit Monster level 4, I forgot the name, that bounces back row on summon, and there's like one, I think it's like Tsukiyomi, that flips monsters face down on summon. So that are like stuff that you can play, so that when you go second, the skill gives you an extra normal summon. For Spirit Monsters, you can use it on, you use it to book stuff face down, or get rid of back row. Our opponent will just do their standard Utopia combo. And it's kind of insane how this card is just not hard once per turn, so if you make 2 copies, you can just use 2 copies. But that shouldn't be that big of a problem. And this also shows what our deck is capable of doing, and because our stuff doesn't actually target, like Magnifica banishes without targeting. Our opponent will try to negate our Xyz to try to stop us, which is completely fine because we already have everything in our hand. And because we didn't use our normal summon, the normal summon from our Spirit Monster is the extra one that we get from the skill, so we can just normal summon the Stella and summon the Ellis, and that will force out the back row by using the Michaelis effect to banish it. It will force out the Omni Negate to negate and destroy, but that's fine, we still have enough gas to special summon another Xyz. So we're gonna use Pax to special summon her partner, and then make any rank 4, we'll just make the one that boosts attack because why not. And then Magnifica, fun fact, does not target, so we're just gonna get rid of that Xyz, attack twice, and just go for game. Okay, final game, we are going first, playing the expensive version of this deck. We do have 2 performances, and realistically 1 is already enough, and unfortunately we did draw the Returnium, which means we basically have like a -1 because we could have searched it during the middle of our combo, but I mean, that's still okay, it doesn't really like stop us from doing a combo. So we can just special summon the Ellis, and then special summon the Hat Tricker, make a copy of Michaelis, And this is when you would search the trap card, but because we already have it, we will just immediately Xe summon the Magnifica, and then we'll just grab ourselves some follow-up and pitch a copy of Damage Juggler, set 2, and end our turn. Opponent is playing Nouvelles, and, well, bad news for them, I know how to play against this deck, and as long as we don't target their ritual monsters, we should be doing good, and also that's why we summon our monster in defense. Our opponent will still give us an attack position monster, so that doesn't really stop them from using their effects, but we can play around a lot of things that they have, and they will be able to change our stuff to attack position, but Droplet does not target, so we'll just negate the ritual, which both prevents the backward pop and prevents them from using the effect to transform into a higher level ritual. They're gonna make it a level 1, and, well, bad news for you, Magnifica does not target, and the trap, well, it does target for the first effect, the second effect, the second part does not target, so as long as we time our interruptions correctly, we should be able to play through it even if our opponent has a counter trap, because the counter trap does not destroy if the monster on the field is not special summoned by a monster effect. So here we try to banish the opponent's monster, and our opponent will try to negate, which is completely fine because what this achieves is that it chain blocks. A way to play around Nouvelles is that they have to activate a quick effect immediately when a card targets it. So if they try to target their own card, you can just chain anything, any quick effect in between, and that will stop them from using the effect to summon Ritual from deck. So even if they try to negate our monster, we still achieve our goal to stop them from leveling up. So guy gets negated, but doesn't get destroyed. And they will try to do that again, and as I said, we can chain block, this time using the Magnifica effect to transform into Michaelis, and, well, that prevents them from leveling up their ritual. They're going to try to make a Link Rebo, but that is pretty much all they can do. We'll use Michaelis to banish one of their back row during the end phase, and we don't even need to use the Returnia, and we can save it for later. We can now just do our performance combo, just make some more level 4s and make it rank 4, all in defense so that we play around their stuff. And we'll use the trap to banish their back row, force it out, and then use the second effect to banish the ritual. Again, does not target, so they can't use the ritual effect to make another ritual. And then, even though we summoned everything in defense, it's fine because we can now, after clearing the opponent's back row, we can rank up into a Magnifica in attack position, attack 2 times after banishing their monster, and then that will be game.